Let me start with the hard business, defense, right? So, Vishal, maybe first you can do a quick introduction of yourself, and then my first question to you is, we have been a big defense consumer as a country, right? So, I don't know, after oil, is that the biggest place where we lose a lot of our foreign currency? But the government has, I think, over the last 10, 15 years, been working on this, getting a lot of defense technology to be built in India, and defense is an area where you have this, what Piyush was talking about, right? This intersection of great science capabilities that India had, maybe not like the 90th percentile, but sufficient science, good engineering, right? Because of what we have imbibed in the auto industries and some of that. And we have, of course, great software capabilities. I think we need all of these in defense, right? Why have we started to see these tailwinds? And I'm starting to see this momentum build up in defense. Maybe quick introduction and then.
So I'm Vishal. I'm one of the founders at Zetwerk. Zetwerk predominantly, amongst other things, is in renewables, defense, and electronics. Coming to defense, Prashanth, very, very valid question. There's a lot of excitement around defense. Some of the things which are driving this is, one is, of course, we are in a particular geopolitical situation. The defense supply chains are heavily fragile, as has been exposed. And hence, when you live in a certain neighborhood that we live in, it's very important to have complete custody of our own supply chain to be prepared for any eventuality. Second is, as you rightly pointed out, defense is one of the largest components of defense expenditure, and bulk of it still goes outside the country. If any of those manufacturing or integration can be catalyzed within the country, it will only help in expanding our economy rather than losing those dollars. Third is IP generation, right? Defense is one area where, if you see the traditional large MNC defense companies, they have a right to play because of the IP. And this is the time when India is creating its own IP. Our situation, our threat perception, our threat analysis inside the country, outside the country is very unique to us. It's very difficult to bring a European or an American technology to address those threats. And hence, it's very important for us to have our own IP to deal with our own situation. And fourth is Indian companies, when there is a situation where you need to urgently attend to it, you can't be waiting you can't be dependent on a company which is based outside. An Indian company would respond to those situations with a great agility, speed, and with passion which is far beyond business. So I think these are some of the trends which are driving this, and whilst we are seeing a lot of on-ground momentum on indigenization programs that have been launched, and the products are actually coming out. So that's great momentum on ground.
Yeah, so we'll come back later to the challenges and some of the... I feel that India's AI moment is actually going to be in defense. And this is my prediction. And the reason is you need to put money into it, right? And the only place where money is going to go in, whether it's for robotics, these smarter unmanned vehicles, precision manufacturing, AI there. So just what are the spaces where you see AI actually disrupting defense in the defense industry?
Multiple, actually, because nothing is constant. The battlefield is evolving every war after another war, and all of us have seen videos, a small drone shooting down a tank and a small drone shooting down a person. And much of that is possible because we have been able to train the systems to correctly identify what is threat and what looks like a threat. So all the new programs, all the new products where software is getting embedded, AI is a very critical element because wars are expensive, and it's
and the whole kind of paradigm is shifting, right? And the paradigm is shifting towards the role AI can play.
Absolutely.
Rather than how big is your tank or how big is your missile.
Yeah, eventually it's the guy. You know, it's no longer about heavy hardware, and battles are today fought in the electromagnetic spectrum.
Correct.
So, which is why AI is very important. All the software codes which are written today, at least in the defense application, have an element of AI. Of course, it needs to improve by leaps and bounds, and which it is happening.
And do you see, I mean, I'm also a big believer of kind of India leapfrogging some of these, right? And we don't have the IP for a lot of this here. How important is it to kind of bring these global IPs and repurpose it here and then actually take advantage of the same IP for the rest of the world? I see a huge opportunity there.
Absolutely. Both IP coming from abroad to India and contextualizing it to our requirements. And second is domestic IP generation. If you see, there are some programs like the IDEX and the Aditi where government is funding these development programs, and there are a lot of people who have come forward with these ideas. So that work is happening at a great speed, and there's more and more improvement every day that we see. But AI, particularly in the way we perceive threat and we address threat, has got a tremendous potential. I think we've not even fully understood the potential that it has for our applications.
Great, Vishal. Ashish, Vishal, in the defense space, is there room for smaller startups? And I know that the drone space has a bunch of them, but what are some of the opportunities in defense that startups can look at?
In defense, wherever you look, you'll find an opportunity. You know, most of the equipment.
So if you had to categorize like 2-3 classes of defense companies, what would they be classified?
Since we are near Pina, I'll give some white spaces on the mechanical side. If you look at most of the equipment that we use, the tanks, the combat aircraft, these are all 1960s, 70s, 80s.
What are these? Sorry?
The combat aircraft, the Sukhois.
So one is, so the opportunity is to provide...
pick up any part of the aircraft, the smallest part of the aircraft, and make it in India. It's a huge service to the country. Today, we face downtime because...
And how many parts would a typical aircraft have?
In each aircraft, you'll have at least 300 to 400 LRUs, line replaceable units.
300 to 400.
They're all available for indigenization, by the way.
Got it.
And you make it, and then you forever become the OEM, and next 30 years it's a great service.
And then you service not only Sukhois in India, but Sukhois globally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one space.
That's one. Other is on the radar side, if you see specific to radar, there's a lot of intelligence which are radars because, like I keep saying...
Yeah, because that's where, again, the battles are won on the radar.
Absolutely. If you can write a very high-end, high-quality AI-driven code to help us see the skies as clearly as we can. And that's another big area. Whilst India is the powerhouse of software, but software hasn't given so much of love to defense historically in India.
Yes.
So that's another area. A great white space.
And third is the unmanned, I guess, the UAV.
Unmanned, of course.
And in UAVs, the smaller format ones and the larger format, equal opportunities in both?
Absolutely, in equal. Right?
Yeah, because
it's a big country, huge border.
And you have the whole swarm drones and so...
N number of applications of UAVs.
So, no, thank you. I think you've heard from